I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. No second guess it, I let it set in. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, but sometimes misinformed.
Well, you two are.
This is Danny G, before I was rudely interrupted, sitting right here with my boys, Jimmer and Rio. And, yeah, we've got some whiskey wagers to pay up on tonight.
That we do.
I think I'll be setting a 3 gig record. Previously, Jimmer owned it. I've got it tonight now. I've got 5.
Five, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So this
What'd
is
you
going to
do,
be
4?
rough.
Three.
Okay.
Three, yeah.
Yeah, so what we do have coming is in the small town, we don't have an Uber, but we do have plenty of people around here to pick them up. So
Or we can walk.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. But, yeah, we are finally at the point. We know what the college football playoff is. We know who's involved. Got some interesting things to talk about there. And then fun week of football today, too, in the NFL. So as we kick it off, what's going on out there?
All right, we're going to roll with the Panthers fired their offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, with the team sitting at 5-7. They're on a bye week this week, so whoever they're going to end up having calling plays, they at least have a week to get underneath their belt here. Thoughts?
Yeah, pretenders all the way, like I said, that 3-0 start or whatever it was, and it's not looking good.
They've, I don't want to put too much of a, because I think every team in the NFL is literally dealing, I don't care if you're the number 1 seed in the playoff hunt right now with the best record or the worst record in the NFL. Everyone is dealing with the worst case of injuries I've ever seen in my life, right? And same thing with them. They weren't a very deep team to ever recover from that. I mean, as soon as they lost Christian McCaffrey, shit started going downhill. Sam Darnold started throwing it away a little bit, and then he got hurt, and he's done even when you got Christian back, and then Cam Newton, the quote-unquote saving grace, didn't happen. Christian McCaffrey goes back out. Sam Darnold's still out. It's been a shitty year for them, but I don't want to put it completely on that. Like I said, every team is dealing with that.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Ben Roethlisberger privately has told former teammates and some within the organization that he expects this to be the final season playing quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Interesting the way you put that. For the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not, it's my final season.
He also said playing quarterback. Is he going to linebacker? Tight end?
Maybe tight end.
Maybe tight end.
Maybe tight end.
Could see that.
As long as he's not running her out. But it was interesting how he worded that. Like, I don't expect to play quarterback for Pittsburgh next year. So somebody else.
I think all three of us have been pretty consistent from the very start of the season, before the season started. The dude should have hung it up before this, right? Like we talked about that the end of last year for him, and he wasn't looking good, and they were winning in spite of him. Now it's actually catching up the other way, right? And he has nothing, and it's the further he goes on, hopefully it is just flat out retirement. Because the further he goes on, I think he's gonna actually hurt himself a little bit more, And then, in my opinion,
Hurt his legacy
a little bit. Like, just hang it up. This organization is stuck with you through thick and thin. And some of the worst things possibly in history too. I mean, a lot of people forget about that whole nightclub incident. Just before he got married.
Yeah.
And the bouncers.
We didn't forget about that.
We didn't forget about it.
No.
Those bouncers holding the bathroom door closed, and poor girl getting the business.
To your point, though, Rio, I can't think of a team that would want him.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't either,
He's just not good.
When you go with a vet like that, if you did, it'd be a team that would supposedly believe that they're a Super Bowl contender and they're a quarterback away. I don't know if there's really one in that mix, do you?
Right, and we talked about, I think, brought it up earlier this year that, players are so pro ready now coming out of college that you don't even have to sit an early quarterback. You know, you take a quarterback day 1 and 2, you probably don't have to sit them. They can step right in and play. Of course, have their growing pains and whatnot, but you know, they're more ready for that approach than sitting for a year or two like Rodgers did, and for pulling the trigger on them. So,
yeah, for sure.
Kenny Pickett lives in Pittsburgh.
Did you see his?
He does.
Did you see that play
I
where
did.
he fake slid and then
Fake slid. That's
That was
dirty
messed up.
for him?
it is.
Yeah, and hopefully that
I
didn't get the rule change, but oh my
So
gosh.
I like it because I like you finding any little thing. But I see what they're talking about. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is shit. I would be pissed.
Well,
if I
you
was
saw
on the
the
team.
defender let
Yeah,
up
he
like,
lit-
oh, he's
yeah,
gonna
he literally
slide. Oh,
stopped.
he's-
Yeah, because if he went and laid up Kenny Pickett, if he laid him out, he would have gotten flagged.
Oh yeah,
Right?
maybe
Maybe
ejected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Eagles are on track to clinch a first-round pick from Carson Wentz with the Indianapolis Colts. The Eagles needed Wentz to play 75% of the Colts' offensive snaps this season. And unless he doesn't play the rest of the season now, because their game has already been played today, and then they go on like a ridiculous snap count, I do believe it's a signed, sealed deal that they get their first-round pick.
Well, and that's not entirely out of the realm of possibility with Carson Wentz. So
Right.
something stupid could happen and he could be done. So they'd be screwed. But
Well,
yeah, to your point, he's probably
Well, when you
They're good to go.
made this trade, it isn't like this shouldn't bug you. You should be thinking that you were losing your first round picks. You would think everything's going good, right?
yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it shouldn't bug you. But those top 10 picks last time I'd seen, 2 by the Jets, 2 by the Giants, 2 by the Eagles. Now, granted, the Eagles won today, so I think they dropped one of theirs out of the top 10. But God,
Still,
Who'd they win
that's a
with?
lot. Huh?
Who'd they win with today?
Gonna touch on that here in a second.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew started at quarterback for the Eagles today against the Jets in place of the injured Jalen Hurts. Hurts was inactive for the game with an ankle injury sustained against the Giants last week in the second half. And Minshew Mania may be back, baby.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know anyone that owned Dallas Goedert in fantasy definitely wants Minshew because what old boy put up in our league? We do a half-point PPR, and he put up 27 points or something like that.
He
Something
had a
stupid.
day. Yeah.
So, Godspeed to anyone that had to play against them.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Aldo defeated up-and-coming Rob Font via unanimous decision in the main event of UFC Fight Night Saturday in Las Vegas. Me and Danny watched this one last night, and what I thought was interesting off air, you said that he must have came back. I thought he owned the whole match, the whole way through. In fact, they scored it that way, too. I thought he beat the shit out of Font.
Yeah, at the beginning of the first
I mean, he got
round,
tagged up a little bit.
Yeah.
It looked almost even for at least a couple of rounds there, is what it seemed like. I didn't watch it, but just reading the live scorecard or whatever, I was like, okay, so it must seem like they're seeing him be pretty even. And then I stopped paying attention to it and didn't check, so then he must have just widened the gap from then.
Yeah,
then
he was
on.
getting touched up a little bit, but I forgot his name already. Whoever he was
Font,
fighting,
Rob Font,
Font,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
he just didn't have the same power. Like every time Aldo touched him, it was like, ugh, like he could have been knocked out every single time.
And there's a few times that he could have flat out finished him. He
Yeah.
stunned him. I think was it the first or
Yeah,
the second?
late
He
in the
stunned him
first round,
good,
yeah.
and then he didn't like pounce right on that. So I read 2 different things about this, and in the article it said that they were the 5th and 6th respectively in their weight class, but on the fight it said 4th and 5th. So I don't know what the hell the difference is, but I remember watching it last night and it said 4th and 5th rated fighter in their weight class. But in the ESPN article it did say 5 and 6. But either way, Aldo seems like to me like he's making himself one hell of a little comeback here.
Dude, he's been fighting for 17 years. That's amazing.
Called out Dillashaw. He
Yeah.
wanted a shot at the belt, but he knows that isn't possible. That you mentioned it when we were watching it. What that one fighter, the champ,
Oh yeah.
How you put that?
Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
Yep.
The champ. Because that was your boy, that Peter Yan, right? The illegal kick, the illegal knee or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, he's busting him up the whole fight.
He beating the shit out of him. Well, then Danny was getting a little irritated because they called him the champ when he was walking out of the fight. You know, he's like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Peter Yan fucked him up. So he called on him, but evidently, was it him that I thought it was that. But he still has to wait for Peter Yan to run it back anyway before they do that. So he brought up T.J. Dillashaw in his post-fight.
That'd be a good fight too.
Yeah.
Dillashaw's a stud.
Dillashaw just underwent knee surgery too, though, I read.
Yeah, he got into a banger his first fight back and then had to get it fixed up a little bit. I can't remember who he fought.
It was because that was after the 2-year suspension.
Corey Sandhagen, maybe?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah,
that was it.
And
That was it.
it was a heck of a fight. Ended up winning, and then, he hurt himself some, so he had some surgery, cleaned up some stuff, so he may be on the sidelines for a little bit yet.
Still be a fun fight to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Between those two,
Yeah.
if they can make that one work.
Mm-hmm.
A little side note of that, when we were watching this, I don't know if they just put this UFC fight night in the back room of like a closet. 'Cause there was like 7. I'm talking about there was only room for maybe 17 people in that
Yeah,
whole
it was tiny.
little arena. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Vince Vaughn was there though.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
Yeah. Big deal.
Yep. No decision has been made on whether the Bucks will bring back Antonio Brown after his 3-game suspension.
He's not coming back, is he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Bruce Arians was already
Yep.
fired up, fiery, however you want to say, about the whole vaccination deal, and my team will get it 100% or you won't play. That's the end of conversation. And so for this to come out, that he faked it, lied, whatever, found a way around it, yeah, I can see them trying to cut him or of some sort like that.
Here's the deal: if they don't let him come back, that could potentially cost him a Super Bowl, because I think he had so much to that team offensively.
Did you see?
That would be
Did you see
huge.
Tom Brady's numbers with him and without him? It is night and day. It really is.
Yeah.
So
Because you can't rely on Gronk to stay healthy necessarily. He probably will get dinged up, miss another game or two.
Stop it.
I don't know. He just,
But
he
yeah,
does, right?
he does.
He just does.
Oh, yeah, he does.
I know you're not rooting for that, but
I'm not. I just got him back, man. He went back-to-back, 17 and 19.
yeah, big
you'll
time.
take that from a tight end spot all
yeah,
day.
You know it.
The NFL's 2022 salary cap is expected to jump from this season's $182.5 million to $208.2 million. This gets me extremely jacked up because I'm ready to pay my man Kirk Cousins even more money to fill that salary cap space because we don't know what else to do with it.
Pay him to retire.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I
Money.
don't know why you had to bring up the Vikings, but
Because I watched them piss away a game today.
God.
They did
Rivalry.
come back.
Rivalry.
They were
Rivalry.
they were getting stomped, and they did come back.
That's we don't like moral victories here. I'm okay with fucking just getting shit stomped.
No, that's always good. A little more money. Yeah, that way, if you've got to pay your big name quarterback, you've still got a little more flexibility than they do right now. So I think that'd be good.
And so many stars developing over the league too that are demanding more money, and so it helps you out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because quarterbacks are going to take the bulk of it away. Ultimately,
I think that's just in time for
Baker.
Yeah, Jesus. No, I was gonna bring up. Old boy hasn't been paid yet. Lamar Jackson, right?
Oh,
I don't think he has.
Yeah, I don't think he has either.
This is like perfect timing for the Ravens to not exactly have to tear apart their whole team. They just gained, what is that? $26 million in cap space right there.
Yeah, that's true.
mm-hmm.
So, Nick Saban announces that star wide receiver John Mechie III has torn his ACL. Big?
Yeah.
I think it's very big. I'll make that very clear because my argument against you guys when we got into our heated Georgia-Bama battle was that Georgia hadn't faced an offense like this all year. Yes, they kept people under 7 points or whatever. That was their average for the year. But they hadn't faced an offense like that. They haven't faced 2-star potential first-round wide receivers like that. And then a quarterback like that, all comboed together, right? Take one of those 3 pieces out of there like that, and now you gun on one receiver.
Right. And Alabama hasn't been, consistently high-powered offense either all year.
No, they've had their hit and misses. Yeah.
Yep. So definitely taking a piece out is not a great thing going into the playoffs.
Yep. You got anything over there?
That's it. I said it was big time, man. That's it. I think it could definitely affect things going forward, but we'll see.
You're referring to the 5 shots you're going to take, or affecting things going forward? Or
You see, he brought some water to help chase this, like a big old gallon jug over there.
Man.
Yeah. Chase a whiskey with water.
He's going to have the hangover after the 5th, just right out of the gate.
It's going to be rough.
He said he's going to skip drunk. He's going to go right to hungover.
Right.
UCLA's game schedule for Sunday at Washington has been canceled due to COVID-19 issues in the Huskies program, resulting in a Washington forfeit. It's the first game cancellation to result in a forfeit this season due to COVID.
Yeah. So then the other team gets a W.
Yeah,
That's. I think that's horseshit because you don't play the game, right?
Right.
You didn't get the win. You're not the better team.
You definitely don't know if you are, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So why give somebody a win? At least, try to get a makeup date or.
So the one cool thing
We have ties in football. Fuck, can you not do something?
So that's exactly. So that was the cool thing about this they didn't give much detail on this one. And what I mean by that is they agreed before the season that anything that like a COVID outbreak like that and you can't play, that the two universities, whoever they be, can have a conversation and they both have to agree on a rescheduled date. They can replay them at any time, but they both have to agree. So does that tell you that UCLA? I don't know. In my thoughts, I think UCLA is like, no, we don't have any open dates, so we'll just go ahead and then they get a W.
Conference W.
Conference W. Yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
You can't find a date somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Both of you.
Right. Even if you're short on rest, both of you are probably short on rest and whatever.
Absolutely. Iowa State Athletic Director Jamie Pollard shares his testicular cancer diagnosis in a letter to the fans where he reveals he has had one of them removed.
Man, it's crazy how many people are living with this and you don't even know about it until way late, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been at Iowa State forever, I feel like, too, as the AD. So that's, man, yeah. That's tough to hear.
Yeah, it sucks. Like anything to do with cancer in general, but definitely the hairy boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, anything to do with the hairy boys. Like my stomach went pit.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking 70s style, I guess.
Okay.
Well, we did just get out of what? No Shave November, bro.
Exactly. Get sponsored by Manscaped.
Hey, there we go.
Actually,
Shout out Manscaped.
Don't get me wrong, I love that, but I think if I got one to pick, I would have to roll with dude wipes.
Dude wipes, huh?
Oh yeah, man.
Just so hilarious. Ole Miss football coach Lane Kiffin agreed to a new contract to remain with the Rebels. The school announced Saturday. Kiffin's new deal will average in the $7.5 million range annually. After reading up about this, it's a pretty unique thing. I shouldn't say it's unique. I guess I didn't know. I don't know how many states do this. But Mississippi law prohibits anybody for a public figure that you're getting paid in tax money to have more than 4 years in at a time. So in this case, we may be repeating this a year to the day every year as long as they keep competing like that and being that damn good, because they only could do 4 years at a time. So every year they could be adding another year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is pretty interesting. I don't know who. I imagine there's other states that would, especially in the South, do something like that, but I've never heard that.
No, I know Iowa is. I do believe Kirk Ferentz was signed to like a 25-year contract.
Yeah, lifetime contract probably.
Yeah,
lifetime contract.
Lifetime.
Suck.
And I can't. I was gonna say Terry Brandt said it was the governor for like 30 years too. So
yeah.
But
what bowl are you playing in?
Georgia is in the
what bowl does Texas
is
play
in the conference or the playoff, baby.
College
so,
football playoff.
We'll get Bama the next time.
Yeah.
surprised he just said jump ship to Roll Tide. Like, why aren't we just doing this?
If
Beyond
they
what
play
maybe-
again, Georgia will get him.
I love this. We're gonna go on to the. So that obviously that's a good hire, right? Or good contract extension, right?
Yep.
Ole Miss was legit, 10-2. The
Yep.
only 2 losses, one was against Bama, and then who was the other one? Was it?
Was it like A&M or something? It was.
Might have been something like that, like and it was like a shootout. But I know
Auburn, maybe?
when they still have Bo Nix, maybe. Either way, 10-2. That was their most wins in a regular season, I do believe.
I think they went to Auburn and lost.
Did they?
Mm.
Okay. Most wins in their illustrious history in the
Yeah.
regular season.
Interesting, they got to replace a quarterback, so
Yeah.
see what
Yeah.
happens there. I mean, he's an offensive guru, but
Yeah. Louisiana promoted co-offensive coordinator Michael Desmarais to head football coach on Sunday. Desmarais is a former Raging Cajun quarterback who grew up in Louisiana. Kind of good to stay right up in your own backyard. You
I
already
told
know.
you they were good.
Yeah.
You're not surprising anyone. I've known this for a while.
You didn't pick him, though.
I didn't pick them. I rolled with the other one. Why would? We're gonna get over the picks. Don't worry, son. There's 2 of you taking shots today, and I'm not one of them.
You just said that you knew they were good, but
I
you
did know they
didn't
were
pick
good.
them.
No, I didn't. I knew they were good though. So was the team they were facing. Appalachian State also has a history of winning too, so we'll get to the history part too. I got something for you, big guy. Sources say Oklahoma is set to finalize deal to hire Clemson defensive coordinator Brent Venables as their next head football coach. This is the same guy that has turned, after reading about it, he's turned down multiple head coaching jobs in the past. He turned down a big one like last year, the year before, and they got turned into the highest paid assistant coach in college football this last year. He was set to make like $2.5 million.
Yeah, he's
before
doing all
this.
right regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, he was all right
Yeah.
regardless, but Oklahoma, he's gonna have to restock the old pool there since
Yeah.
all those guys just up and left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miami is in extensive discussions with Oregon's Mario Cristobal to make him the next Hurricanes football coach. Cristobal is a Miami native and former Hurricanes offensive lineman and assistant. But he also has a lucrative contract still on the table from Oregon. There's a lot of dead silence right here. Like, dead radio is not good radio.
You don't go wrong either way you pick. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil Deal's down in Miami. You got Nike in your backyard at Oregon, and I mean, and plus the California,
I was going to roll with them.
pickings there.
I'm a little surprised that they're giving up on that Diaz that quick. They had one hell of a tough schedule, especially to start, right?
Yeah.
And he went out there and swung with freshmen the last, 5 games. And I think he went 4-1, 3-2, or something like that. But he's rolling all freshmen, basically, for the most part, to see what he had, something Iowa doesn't do. And he got something out of him. So I was curious. I was actually surprised that they're willing to just throw in the towel on him that quick.
They were destined to have a bad season when they played Bama early in the season, right? We talked about this. Can't blame it on him. It was
I
going to happen.
know you've been waiting.
Yeah, it was going to
waiting for
happen.
that.
I feel like you you risk a lot if you go to Miami. Like, you're in a good spot where you are. You're going to win some games. If you go to Miami, even if you have a down year, like this year, they could just cut bait and you're done. Then you're like, what the hell do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'd probably stay, but we'll see what he does.
Yeah, probably easier conference though.
Oh, for sure.
I think going over to Miami, with Lincoln Riley going to USC, so USC's and within the next 2 years there's going to be,
Should be. Yep.
lighting up the scoreboard. So, you may not be that top dog, which they weren't this year, but they were looking like it at first, right?
Yeah.
So
You could think about it like that, especially like what you had to compete with Clemson. But then, like you said, Pittsburgh may go down because Kenny Pickett's going to go in the draft, right?
Right. You'd imagine they probably do.
And I don't know where Wake Forest is going to go. I don't know where their quarterback is in this because their quarterback they were heavily dependent on, too, at Wake Forest. They play no defense. That's for damn certain. But, like, building off what you're saying, like, I don't know how the rest of them weren't looking too shabby down there. So,
Talk
yeah.
about UCLA, I mean, being up and coming,
They're gonna be
too. I
better,
mean,
yeah.
Oregon State
So-
played pretty damn good this year, too. They played pretty good football.
Right, so maybe.
Arizona State was consistently a top 25 this year. I think they fell out the final week, but I think they were I want to say 8-5. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
I want to
in
say
that
so.
ballpark.
Arizona State. So Pac-12 is loaded actually with at least medium to possibility of great talent. So maybe it is. Maybe it is the move to go down there.
Maybe.
We'll get to that one next. Cincinnati head coach Luke Fickell is reportedly on NFL teams' radars following undefeated regular season. Is there any position? First off, should he be? Should
Yeah.
he be a head coach football NFL?
Why not? They let Jason Garrett do it, so
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, they've definitely brought in worse people.
Now, next question: should he, if offered?
Yes.
Yeah, jump at the money because it's probably better. You're probably losing that running back, quarterback, stud corner,
Yep.
and Cincinnati. So, question is, are they even in the top 25 next year?
I think his program's built pretty good. I think it's going to be if I had to throw a number out there, I bet you they'd probably go down to 2 losses next year.
Mm-hmm.
Just his program is built pretty damn good, but 2 losses, that's the difference. Exactly those guys that you're saying right there. A seasoned
but
vet quarterback.
Look at how many close wins they had against.
No,
and they're going to lose all
I'm
them
agreeing.
guys.
I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. Like but their program will get them to where they finish 13-0. So their program, in my opinion, would get them to 11-2 or 10-3 without those guys. But that's a huge difference right there. You're talking about college football playoff versus you may not even be in your own conference championship game. So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. I do agree with you that you lose a seasoned vet quarterback, you lose that stud running back who had like 187 yards in their game yesterday, and then that corner is projected first round, I do believe.
Yeah.
So those are huge pieces. You don't just replace those like that. So
No, this is lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
Okay? Like, this is his one shot to get the recognition that he will never be able to get again, I think if you get the offer, you take it.
Well, he could
Give
get
it a
it.
shot.
He
Yep.
could get it the next month or so when he's national champion.
Well, yeah, we're saying this year.
This year, after
Yeah.
this year, yep.
Yeah.
The first Group of 5 team in the history of the college football playoff will play for the national title, as a selection committee revealed: number 1, Bama; number 2, Michigan; number 3, Georgia; and number 4, Cincinnati.
Since he's in, baby.
We've
Since he is
been
in.
pounding that table. We've been hoping, and they had one hell of an impressive win
Yep.
against Houston to put the period on the end of the sentence, to make sure that there was no other. There had been some dumb shit, and the committee would have had just shit down their neck for him not to be in. We had Notre Dame, Oklahoma State will meet in the Fiesta Bowl, while Ohio State faces Utah in the Rose Bowl. Baylor will face Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl, and Pitt will face Michigan State in the Peach Bowl to round out the New Year's 6 games.
Yeah, here's the deal. The last thing we need from Cincy right now is them to at least make it a game. They cannot just get the doors blown off of them. Otherwise, no team will probably have a shot unless they go to that 12-team playoff that you talked about a few different times there.
So, there's so many avenues I need to go down right here. We'll start with one that isn't as controversial. You were texting me or texting us earlier about the committee saying that they put these guys in this position not because that's where they deserve to be, not because it had anything to do with they didn't want to see a rematch right away out of the first. Because that's the reason why they didn't take Georgia down to 4.
That's a lie.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're all on the same page there that's definitely horseshit.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't want
no
them
way
to
they were
face.
gonna have an immediate rematch.
Yep,
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be an immediate rematch. They want them both to go because it will draw the most money, right? The worst case scenario for them is that Cincinnati goes to the national championship, correct?
Yeah.
Money-wise.
I think even if it's Michigan and who would that be, Bama, that's still a nice chunk of change. Michigan, they've got a good following too. But you're right, Georgia,
Yeah.
Bama's the biggest for sure.
Yep. We're going to go down the other avenue. So why is Bama at number 1?
He shouldn't be.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
No,
They
I'm not-
shouldn't be.
Who should be?
They just did this for, like I said, the draw. It should be Michigan. You blow somebody out like that.
Hold on. They
Yeah.
blew. This is where I'm getting at.
Blew
Thank
the
you.
doors
They
off.
blew the doors off of the number 1 rated team in the NCAA football. Remember that
No.
because you guys were all dick riding Georgia. This is a 17-point victory against the number 1
Michigan
team.
should have still slid up, and then Bama should have went to 2.
17. Bama was no.
Yeah.
No, not even close. They had this right. They had that part right. They didn't have the Georgia right. I think if they were going to do anything, you should have taken Georgia down to 4, because you got the bricks beat out of you when everyone's been blowing you all year long. You gave up less than 7 points a game. You gave up 41. You lost by 17. They beat the number 1 team in the nation. They deserve to be number 1. They have a 1 loss, gentlemen. 1.
Yeah, to Rio's point,
Mi-
though, Michigan won the Big Ten championship by 38 points
Against a team that had no business probably being there, and we know that.
against the number 13 team in the country.
Hold on. Against the 150th ranked offense.
Who is their loss to? Who is Michigan's one loss to?
Now Michigan State. Michigan State.
Yeah.
Oh, and is Texas A&M even in the top 25 anymore?
They are.
Okay.
Michigan. Who?
That's who beat Bama.
Texas A&M. Yeah, they're in the 25.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I was going to say, because if they're not, then yeah, why wouldn't they just slide to 1?
They
For
played.
sure.
No, this was a slant. That part wasn't even a conversation. Now, it's to me when I say it's not a conversation, I did agree with Danny last night about the same thing. I was like, it's very close. Like I wouldn't be angry if they would have put Michigan at number 1 and Bama at 2. I wouldn't be like sitting here pounding the table like why I would get the conversation. But I understand this 100%.
Ultimately, they wanted to keep Georgia and Alabama separate. Is
Yeah.
what it come down to. They had to, and that was the easiest way to do it, is throw Alabama at 1, which isn't
without completely disrespecting Georgia by throwing you down to 4.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I mean, am I like, oh, this absolutely shouldn't be where it's at? No, but it's like I think Michigan probably should have just slid on up and Bama right up to 2.
Do you have
But
Do you have that recording of where I said that Bama was gonna kick the ever-loving shit out of them and beat them by up double
Jimmer,
digits?
I was like, dude, I didn't
said by
even get
double
this
digits.
cocky when the Cowboys beat the Vikings
told-
with a shitty backup
I told
quarterback.
you
like,
by double
Jesus
digits,
Christ, dude.
both of you, and you guys were riding the Georgia nuts.
You said to be
I said
fair,
double digits. We can go back and re-
No,
Yes, I did.
Stop. To
Yes,
be
I did.
fair, you said double digits, but when we said to bet on it, you would not.
Why would I have to bet
So-
on that? They already covered 6.5. Plus, they beat them by 17. So they did it by 23.5 points. You stop it.
You wouldn't bet on
You
it.
Stop
wouldn't
it.
bet on the
Stop
double.
it. You don't have to. I bet on them in general, and I won. Right? I gave you 6.5 points. We went a straight up bet. I told you they were going to roll them up. You guys, okay? So I'm going to give you one out on this, right? I'm going to give you one out on your whiskey wager.
Jesus. Oh, here we go.
I'm going to give you it, and your out is, and I gave Danny this. He said he was going to ponder it. You say, I will not ever doubt you again, Daddy Jimmer, on sports or in anything in life, and you don't have to take the shots. On the clock.
No, I'm definitely not saying that. I'll drink the whole fucking bottle before I say that gay ass stuff. What the hell? Okay.
Well, I gave you an option. So when you were like falling over, walking back to your house from these shots.
Well, I won't. I only got 3. He's got 5 over there. He
Baby.
might be stumbling around.
We'll be all right.
We can hold each other up.
Yeah,
All right. I did. I texted him because he kept sending me video after video. I'm like, I didn't even do this when Cooper Rush beat your crappy Vikings.
I know, man.
Hey, power to them, but this is what happens when I had to go against 2 of you, and you both are jerking each other off on the other side of the table.
My hands were above the table.
No, I can't see him now, let alone.
Well, yeah, he's not touching me anymore.
That being said, that's what I got for news. Let's want to roll over these picks quick.
Yeah, let's do the college ones real quick, and then Rio and I will get some shots in.
All right, so last episode we picked the bowl games, the conference championship games. Conference championship games. I ended up with 7-3. Now my losses were Oregon, which that was a horrendous loss.
Terrible.
San Diego State got blown up by Utah State, and then my other one was App State, and then I went perfect the rest of the route, even picking Bama and Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is for college football. This is a rough weekend of picks for me. Did great in the NFL, but terrible in college. I got 3 right, 3 correct this weekend. Unfortunately, Michigan was one of them.
Okay, can I stop before you go there? Do you remember something that was said when Rio was saying some dumb shit when I was making my Northern Illinois pick? Don't worry, I got it right here. I have Northern Illinois beating Kent State. Northern Illinois has a way longer tradition of winning in the last 10 years. I think they average
what you went on?
8-4. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so he's definitely taking a double.
No, I'm not. Just have faith.
Okay.
Have faith.
But you have a tradition
Experience.
of winning.
Experience.
That is why I picked
Experience. Just watch. It comes in handy.
I can guarantee you had no clue what was going on in this game.
No, I do.
Except
I
they
told-
have a tradition of winning.
I have a way. I also have a way of showing you that this isn't a joke. I picked Northern Illinois. Me and Tyler do these picks every year where we pick a team out of every conference, and it's $1 per win-loss differential. That's what we pay out. I pick Northern Illinois almost every year. That's how I know they average.
It's like
8
some
wins
insider trading now, so I want to protest. I want to protest this bullshit.
Yeah, with that being said, kick right back over
Yeah,
to
that's
Danny.
right.
About your picks.
Mine are quick. I didn't 3 out of the 10 I got right this weekend. I got Michigan, I got Pitt, and what was the other one? There was one more that I got, and that was
You
it.
didn't jot them down?
I don't know.
Did
off
you
the
get
top of my head.
UTSA? No, you. Yeah, you got UTSA, didn't
No,
you?
I didn't.
No.
I picked-
Oh, you took Western
Cincy.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
You got Cincy.
Cincy was the other one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, those 3. That's it. The rest were
Damn.
tough weekend in college. What about you, Rio?
6-4. Didn't do too bad. I flirted with that Mountain West one just because Utah State, man. Sometimes when they get there, they just perform well. I went San Diego State ultimately and lost that in the MAC. Picked Kent State, that bit me. Oklahoma State, inches away, right? And then, of course, the Georgia letting us down. But hit on Pittsburgh, Michigan, Utah. I told you that quarterback, he won't do anything to throw you out of a game. Cincy.
He kind of played balls out though in this game.
He did.
Yeah.
In this one, it wasn't
Yep.
even just like you were just conservative. I watched some of that, and he swung her out there.
Yep.
Texas San Antonio, they almost dropped the ball. And then Louisiana. So
Right on. Yeah, so Jimmer, first place. Rio second, and I'm bottom of the totem pole. So I've got a double on this bitch, and Rio's got 1.
Hold on, what? And can you remind me what your guys' other 2 were for? Can you remind me?
don't
No.
remember. But
Nope.
Don't remember you just said take it.
But there's 2 more.
But there's two more.
But
We just don't need to clarify anything for you, especially after that nonsense that he tried to propose. And he's like, I'm going to tell Rio you're considering it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not just telling you. He was considering
You're
it,
full
bro.
of shit. You
No,
know
he
better
was
than
he
this.
was considering calling me Big Daddy Jimmer, and I'll never disrespect you again. In
you
your
were
picks.
considering it?
You know damn
Way
well
to be a sellout.
that's not true. I'm just doing a double so I can knock out 2.
All right, is that a real? Whoa, it goes all the way up, dude. No, we went over this. It goes all the way up to that 4th line. If you're doing a double,
What's the third line then?
that's 1.5. We already went over this. You screwed us out of a shot once. Remember, Rio?
I know that
Yeah,
was
I
for 1.
remember.
I know that was for 1.
Yeah, no. That they're equally lined. Take it up to the 4 if you're going double. You want to
Hold on, let me see. Let me look at it.
dump it in this one. Dump it in your cup.
I'm sober, not nearly enough, 1 too many, tipsy. That's all it says.
Pour them into the thing. Why does this have to be a debate? I'll go wash this one out, and you can just pull 4 of those in.
Don't pour into that nasty shit. I'll just do what you're thinking.
Whoa.
Put the shot glass up to it. Put his up to it, and see how close. You'll see what I'm talking about. And
Yeah,
he doesn't.
I mean,
he doesn't have his shot glass filled
That's
up
2,
either.
right?
No,
Yeah,
he does not
that
have
would-
his shot glass
that
filled
would-
up.
Oh, that would be one.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So
Oh,
it's
fuck.
double. Exactly, you piece
So
of
it's up to
shit.
here?
He
Yeah.
owes us another half from earlier this year.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that.
Yeah.
I believe that was paid in full.
No.
Whoa, that cheap.
Actually. Well, shout out to Connor.
Shout out to Connor.
Well, you
And,
guys made me like wait forever to record there because you wanted to argue about your shot.
Proper 12.
Proper 12. Oofda.
Look at this guy.
Love it.
Proper 12, baby.
Cheers.
Losers.
Losers of the weekend. That hit my gut real quick. Oh, boy.
Oh, hold on. You still got one more.
I got more. I know I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
1, 2.
We'll get
No.
to that.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you got 3 left. Oh man.
Don't worry about all that. We'll get
Don't
there.
worry about all that.
We'll get there. Damn.
All right. So I was gonna chat a little bit about these, especially to talk about your conference a little bit. That Baylor Oklahoma State game,
That's crazy.
was it not? Like Danny watched that last bit. I
Was
didn't
that
real.
a foot that
Yeah,
Oklahoma State missed down?
They had a pylon cam that was like straight. I'm talking. It might have been 6 inches.
Yeah, it was close.
Go
Not
ahead.
having that running back was huge.
Your wife's version of 6 inches or yours?
Probably my wife's version of 6 inches.
Okay.
Like a legit 6
All
inches.
right.
But that
Man.
being said, I didn't realize that their lead running back was out for that play, for the last few
Oh.
plays. That
No, he was out most of the game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
So it really hurt in that last drive. So they actually got lucky. I'm pretty sure it was a pass interference that got them down to the 1. And so they had 4 plays, could not get in at all.
Yikes.
Couldn't do
You'll
it.
have to-
Sanders played horrible that game, I heard. I didn't get to watch it.
You'll have to, and that's the
4?
quarterback, right, for Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So you'll have to correct me on this because I don't watch that much Big 12 football. But the few games that I did watch this year with them, I remember the commentators, every last one of them, saying that they're high on that quarterback when he's not doing dumb shit. Is basically is what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're like, he does it. He'll just have a game or two where he literally is the reason you lose the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened in this. There was a couple ugly ass interceptions.
Yeah, how many did he have? 3?
3 or 4.
I remember one real ugly
Something like
one.
that. Not great. So, yeah, just kind of throwing Oklahoma State out of the game.
This Pittsburgh Wake Forest game was very close, believe it or not.
Very good for a long time.
For like 3 quarters.
Yeah.
First off, it started off really hot. It looked like it was going to be a college basketball score the first like quarter and a half.
Yeah, didn't they? Wasn't they had like 21-21
Before the first
second.
quarter.
Yeah.
It started the second. And then the defense or some sloppy play or stuff like that started happening. And the games kind of stayed right there for like the longest time. And then Wake Forest took a little lead. And then the next time we blink, because we're dumb enough to change the channel back to the Iowa-Michigan game and watch that fucking for that shit show.
Yuck.
All of a sudden, next time we look up, Pittsburgh is up by what, 20, by like 2-3 touchdowns or some shit like that. Just boom,
Yeah.
like that.
Yep. Quick. They had a pick 6 in there. They scored quick. Like there were just a couple things that happened right back to back, and that was all of a sudden it was a blowout. Fucking nuts.
Yeah. That being said, touch a little bit on the Michigan-Iowa game. This game was sort of started off. I told Chris about this. He's unfortunately been busy moving heavily the last few days, so he didn't get to watch much college football. I was telling him about that opening drive, and Iowa got down. They got a not lucky. It was a pass interference. It was a legit pass interference on the sideline. But they get down there, and then they have it's almost like they trick themselves in their own trick play.
Yeah.
So they actually did a trick play, running back pass, and the pass was actually pretty nice. It might have been a little long, but the pass was to an old school looking fullback, and I think his name's Mike Pottebaum. And the dude was like, he like turns around while he's trying to run. If he would have ran full speed, it still would have been a difficult catch for him, for a guy that isn't used to catching over the shoulder, but. After that, and then we go for a field goal because we didn't get that touchdown that was wide open, and we missed the field goal.
You know what's
That
funny
was the
about that?
highlights for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
There was an interception. They were still in the game. It was 21-3. You can't say we were out because they literally just did this the week before against Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? And then it just went.
So speaking of your field goal deal, it's funny. Like some site like for the brand or maybe NCAA was posted something about your kicker. It was like so and so whatever his name is has been this good and like how good he had been.
Yep.
And then you're like, yeah, and then he missed a field goal. I'm like, well, okay, yikes.
No, the game was over. Really, it was over quick. The first drive Michigan had, we stopped them. It was great defense. We got the ball moving. We're like, okay, whatever. We didn't score. Michigan got the ball back immediately. So Michigan had 2 offensive plays, over 50-yard touchdowns.
Boom, boom,
Boom, boom.
just like that.
And
One of them
so
was a trick play.
that
One
was
of them just that Hassan or whatever his name is, that running back.
Yeah.
Just parked it for like 74 yards or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. They let it be known that they are definitely the class of the Big Ten.
Yeah,
and
100%.
that no one was going to get in their way after that Ohio State victory. So, watched a little bit of that Cincinnati-Houston game. They just took care of business. You know, they did what they should have been doing a few weeks back when we were talking about this. So, you know, there was like a 4-game stretch where they should have been blowing the bricks off some of those teams. You know,
Yeah, they're beating by 10. And
they
shit.
whooped up Houston.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, I think they still end up at 4 even if they do that.
You're
Even if-
probably right.
Yeah, even if they did that. Yeah,
because
they're not going to take them up.
Michigan blowing out the people they've been blowing out
Yep.
recently.
You're
Then
right.
how they won the game. Alabama, obviously, they knocked off number 1. Then Georgia, you know, they wouldn't slide out of the top 4 even if they lost, like we talked about.
Right.
So I think even if they had been blowing them out, they would have still ended up at
No,
4,
absolutely.
too.
No, absolutely. And I agree with that because
But it was still cutting it
because
close.
plain and simple, Cincinnati's like all the committee has to say is like, you're lucky that we didn't find an excuse to pull you out.
Yeah.
So you guys are fortunate that you're in the 4. Don't
I
worry
say-
about where you're at.
I say if Oklahoma State won,
Yep.
they may be sitting at 5.
Yeah,
They might have.
that's what I was going to say, too. I think because of the way they beat those teams, that could have been the excuse to bring Oklahoma State in.
Yep.
If they would have blown them out, there should have been no excuse, you would think, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, yep.
Let's see. I didn't. And then Georgia, Bama, they did exactly. And I already got my poking at you guys. This is like pure watching this game now. So they did exactly what they needed to do. The very first offensive play for them was a quick, not screen, but it was just a quick throw right to the wide receiver, right on basically the line of scrimmage. They kept Georgia off balance the rest of the game. That's what I'm saying. Like, they were quick hitting, they were rushing up to the line, and they just went by quarterback play. That's what they did. And then they would go the other way, like they would play their run game off of their passing game. You know, they were doing run action, not play action. So, but they kept them on their toes. They haven't seen it like that, and their wide receivers balled out for them exactly what they needed.
Yep.
And a couple opportune plays. Me and Danny were talking about this last night. Georgia is that team that they're like the Ravens of like last year and the year before that, right? They're a team that can murder you, but they're a team that is not built to come back. You know, like when you're getting,
They gotta control
They got to
the ball.
control it, and once they do control you, they run it right down your throat, and because their running backs were clicking, but as soon as they were out by so many, after that interception return for a touchdown against Bennett,
Yep.
it just kind of sucked the life out of it because they're not a throwing team like that. I am going to tell you this right now. Anyone that wants a shot at Georgia, if you can keep it close, you need to keep yourself on this tight end that I assume is going to go in the first or second round. I don't know what class he's in or anything like that, but that Bowers is the only dude he threw to.
Yeah.
And he was a beast. He was taking triple coverage, and he was still, I think he ended up with 11 catches, 100 and something odd yards. And that's the only receiving threat they really had. Consistent receiving threat for Georgia.
Yeah, he had to. I think in between, like from the second half of the third to the fourth quarter, he had more drop back pass attempts than he does most games.
Right.
And he just didn't look good. He looked flustered. He always eyed the same guy, that tight end.
Yep.
Just didn't.
He hadn't seen that all year
Yeah.
long. When
Yep,
you
it was
don't
rough.
see that, and like, and you can't just kind of like they are a true play action team. So they run heavy, and then play action because you're trying to stack the box. And I can dink and dunk and throw one deep here and there and do shit like that, you know. And he'll also, I've watched a few of the games. We watched Georgia Arkansas. That was a big time game earlier this year, and I watched it. He was still in that game, you know. And he has some athleticism to run too, but this wasn't the same. As soon as they got hit in the mouth, and then they have to try to come back. I will tell you one thing: That nose tackle is a monster for Georgia, though. What I tell you, like one of the National Player of the Year finalists.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis, I think is his name, and that dude almost took out that offensive line himself. But he's so big, he only can go like 2 plays, and then he has to come out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they brought it up multiple times because he's so he uses so much energy, and he takes on 2-3 guys, and he goes through them too. That is a man. But when you can't stay on the field and do it every single snap.
Hey, one other point about the Georgia game. You brought this up yesterday. Where'd that quarterback come from?
Which one?
Georgia's quarterback.
Oh, we're gonna go that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Stetson Bennett was a walk-on. Georgia, actually, this is where I was gonna be nice to Chris, but let's keep tagging this up because I brought this up too. Georgia was starting 4 or 5 walk-ons throughout their whole offense and defense. Not just Texas starting walk-ons. Georgia was too.
Jesus.
And I didn't know this. I really didn't know this. This is literally what the telecast is telling us. It was like 4 or 5. There's safety and someone else was a walk-on. Stetson Bennett was a walk-on. I want to say like one of their offensive linemen was. And so, I thought there was like 5 is what they said. But I really didn't realize that they weren't. Especially Stetson Bennett. I thought for sure that'd be. But evidently he was a walk-on guy. I also brought up the one thing that I did bring up to you guys is that I thought it was going to be like this because not just they haven't played him like that, but this is still the big brother, little brother. For whatever reason, do you watch some of it too and you've seen Kirby Smart? I saw Kirby Smart losing his shit on the sideline.
Yep.
He could not keep his composure. He was ripping into his players. This game was still in it wasn't like by 17 at that point yet.
No,
it was still like within
I
a
think they were
touchdown.
7 or 10. Yeah.
When they had already given up that 10-0 lead, and then it just looked like he was kind of starting to slip out. He was losing his shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to deal with that. Nick Saban's over there like smiling and shit. It's kind of like you ever seen The Water Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's over there like the coach from University of Louisiana or whatever, and he's like sitting there just chuckling at him, and then he goes try to hide. I'm gonna go get a pretzel.
Yeah.
Kind of what was going on there, but who are we thinking, gentlemen? We do have Alabama or Cincinnati. Any chance Cincinnati has in this game? I'm going to remind you of one key stat. They are number 3 in the nation in defense, by the way. And their offense is, I do believe, in the top 15. So they're a well-balanced team. Any shot against Bama?
No, I don't. Ultimately, I don't think so. We talked about, games they played throughout the year that have been close, and they don't have near the talent the teams that Bama had faced, that even though they had close games as well.
Yep. Can they keep it close, you think? Or are you thinking blowout altogether?
I think they can keep it close for a while. But then, they may start pulling away, and you may see that quarterback start to try to force some things, because we've seen it earlier in the year.
Mm.
And Alabama's the kind of team that'll make you pay for doing that. Some of those games he got away with it. The teams wouldn't do anything with their opportunities and such. Alabama's not the team that will do that. If you throw a pick or anything like that, they're going to pounce on it and put some points on the board ultimately, or run the clock down and then score. So
he did seal up the Heisman Trophy, correct?
Yeah.
That's done deal, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then what do you think? Is there Cincinnati have a shot?
The one thing since he has going for him is that receiver got hurt, right?
Yeah.
So that'll limit them a little bit. But when you look at both teams, you just look at them player by player, there's no spot that Alabama doesn't have an advantage. Head to toe, they've got better players at every single position.
Running back.
Yeah.
Running back, I give
don't
it to
know.
Cincy.
Maybe.
But that isn't going to be enough. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I'm just saying that because they even said on the telecast themselves, they had to run a couple plays running back with a wide receiver for Bama because they don't have no depth this year.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying just the running back. That's all I'm
yeah.
saying.
Just when you think about talent, you mentioned, 3 guys at Cincy that are leaving that's going to really cause a big deal on that team when they leave. If 3 guys left for Bama, it wouldn't change much, right?
No,
They're
no.
talented everywhere.
Right.
I just don't think
Bama hopes they
it's not
only
gonna be a
lose
good
like
game.
3. They end up
Right,
losing
every
like
year.
Yeah.
half their team. So the one thing we can all hope for, and that any small conference can hope for. The next 5, whatever the hell they're calling, is that this game is at least close. They don't need to win. It just needs to be close, so it's not a blowout, so it doesn't look like they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right, because then they get wary of putting teams going forward like this and again, and that's kind of where the 12-team thing comes in. It's like, you're going to see teams like Cincy and stuff on that back end of that 12. Wake Forest. Do you think Wake Forest can compete with Alabama or Georgia or Michigan? Absolutely not. Not going to happen. No. And they're going to get blown out. And, yeah, they need to keep it close, I think, so that the teams moving forward, those small teams, can get in and that they'll be considered. So.
What's close? Within 10?
Yeah,
I say 10.
Yeah.
Within 10.
I would say inside. Actually, what I should clarify more, 14 or less. 14 or less, because that still isn't an ass whooping, depending on when it happens in the game.
Yeah.
If they stay 14 or less, that to me still isn't enough of an ass whooping to keep them out for next time. Let's say it ends up 35-21. I mean, 10 would be, I will be honest, the more I say it out loud, 10 would look a lot better.
Yeah.
So 35-25, something like that wouldn't hurt anything.
Right, unless it's the only thing I'd be like a late and you throw a pick 6 or something. It turns into 17 or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. Because the game was close up to that point. And then Michigan, Georgia. Michigan's been a nice story, right? The one thing that Georgia did show is that they are vulnerable if you play the right game. I don't know if Michigan can play that game.
That's the thing. Can Michigan play the game where you throw outside and not run the ball? Because I think Georgia's built to stop the run.
Exactly.
And stuff the run.
And Michigan runs
and
the
Michigan
rock.
wants to run the ball.
Power versus power, right?
So I'd have to give the edge to Georgia if they go that way. But can they adapt to, the blueprint that Alabama kind of put up there and spread them wide open?
Spread them out and throw it around.
Yeah, Michigan's really got good camaraderie. They're playing for each other. Like, you could tell the way they're talking after the game. If it does turn into a passing affair where the Georgia quarterback has to drop back, I don't know if they'll be able to stop old boy from that. That pass rush was insane.
Yeah. Dude, he had the snap countdown. It was ridiculous.
Oh, my God, he was off.
Let me touch on one thing that I forgot to, and I know that you called it out right away. Iowa's offensive line, right? Used to having like some dogs, like they're underrated usually throughout their whole career coming in, and then they get a little feistiness about it, a chip on their shoulder, and they're usually pretty mean actually. There was a play in that was the first quarter.
Yeah,
there was a play where Hutchinson comes in and he nearly sacks him, or he did sack him.
No,
he strips it. I know. I'm gonna get to the other part, but I'm just talking about the actual play before that.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in, I think he almost sacks him or something like that, knocks the ball out. I don't know the player's name off the top of my head, but it's like a defensive tackle or something like that comes in for Michigan. Like when the play's done, runs right into, on purpose, plays completely dead. And jaw jacks Petrus, slams his helmet into his helmet. And Petrus kind of like, he doesn't fall over, but it's a big man. He kind of stumbles a little bit. And, of course, he gets unsportsmanlike. Not one Iowa offensive lineman over there to shove this dude out of their quarterback's face.
Not at all.
I mean, to you, any brand of football. I mean, you coach some middle school. If you seen someone bullying your fucking quarterback, would you not expect? Are you going to chew out your offensive lineman if he goes and defends your quartback?
No. I'm going to chew him out if you don't.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. And that's my point. There was nobody over there. I'm talking literally nobody. Not even another player, but not an offensive lineman to get up there and push that dude. Like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Get the hell out of my quarterback's face.
At least I seen a flag. At least I see a flag on that play because I actually watched it.
There should have been 2 people getting it, though, because there should have been an offensive lineman getting up in that face.
Exactly.
Defending
I saw a couple times this year where, I can't remember the 2 other games I was watching, but it was like primetime games, so it was loud in the stadium, but they're blowing the play dead, and the dude still hits the quarterback or whatever, and it's like, hold on, what? You don't throw something for that? Yeah. Oh, he couldn't hear. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? And then my bias, I've seen it happen to Texas, but then there was 2 primetime games and nighttime games where it happened. It was like, what are we doing?
Oh, I did see that. I actually did see one of your – I can't remember who it was against. I remember your quarterback getting, like, whooped plenty after the play was done, and there wasn't a flag. But this one, I don't even care about the flag part.
Yep.
I'm like, just purely, I'm like, this
But
is
yeah.
your own testosterone, your own men.
Right, you're not going to
This
do
is
that.
a lineman doing that to your. That wasn't even like a corner coming up and doing it. This is a lineman. The lineman that you let get by, one of the other linemen that you let get by, you let him treat him like that. Hell no.
No.
Danny, shall we?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, might as well get that whiskey a pouring here, gentlemen. Quick, who are we thinking? And I'm not going to hold you guys to this, but your prediction with the 4, now that you actually know, like your rough prediction right now, who do you think? How do you think this is going to break out?
We'll be seeing Georgia and Bama again. I'm still leaning Georgia. You know, I just can't say it confidently after seeing what they did. You know, I'd have to think that quarterback plays better, and the defense goes, okay, this is what they're going to try to do to us, and be a much closer game.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not as confident. I still think Georgia. I still think it's Georgia, Bama, SEC championship rematch, but I'm not as confident. I would not be surprised if Michigan goes in and beats them, for sure.
I'm leaning.
They're playing different.
I'm leaning. What I want to see is Michigan, Cincinnati. What I'm leaning towards seeing, even though I'm a Roll Tide guy, I am a Roll Tide guy. So it's where I'm going with is leaning towards Michigan and Bama. Michigan in a dogfight with the Dogs. Like some freaky last-second play maybe, or field goal, something, just something like that.
So that brings me up. You are a Bama guy, and my question the other night was a game you would watch at any stadium in the world can't be your teams, and you just said Bama's your team, so you got to give me something else.
I can give you another one, I guess, but I thought you were like crossing off my number 1, which would be technically Iowa. That's what I meant by that.
Those are your teams. So give
I've never
somewhere you'd want to.
You don't want to
watch
hear that,
somebody
but I've never watched a game at the University of Iowa though. And that
Right, but you can't pick your own teams, is what I'm saying. And you
Okay.
go for Bama and Iowa. So somewhere you would like to see, and like he picked a good one, Boise. I get that too. The blue field, I'd love to see that too.
in that case, I would give me a second on that one.
Okay.
Just give me a second on that one because there was a few that I was thinking. Possibly Oregon, I think is kind of cool.
Or going to be fun.
I
Yeah.
think that'd be fun. It'd be a fun game to watch too. On top of it, and the stadium gets a rocking. I'm all about that. Like if there's juice in the stadium, like it is just fucking thumping. That's it's kind of where I would go. I like the big house thought and all that too, but that's also weather dependent for me. Like I don't want to be up there cold. I don't want to see it that good.
Michigan, when I was thinking about this, I was like, man, being in the big house, and that'd be pretty cool too. But ultimately, I went with West Virginia to feel, and it was atmosphere. After the game when they sing the whole "Take Me Home,"
I got
thing,
one.
I'd be like, oh, man,
I got you one.
that'd be awesome.
I have one for you then. I'm gonna roll with it. Clemson, Death Valley.
Death Valley.
Okay.
That place gets going.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think most of those Southern teams are real, real big on their team and their atmosphere. So what I'm getting at is like the stadiums are always like that juice up. You don't have to give away tickets like Kansas football to try to get people in the
Yeah,
stadium.
if one of y'all said Kansas, I would flip the table.
Only when they're giving tickets away.
Right.
Or if y'all said Oklahoma, I guess. What? Actually, kind of going off here a minute, but I've got pictures on my Facebook about being at OU wrestling camp. We went there several times, and got to walk out on the field and stuff like that. And
Was it pretty cool?
yeah, it's a pretty cool atmosphere, and got to see their practice facility where they can simulate any kind of weather that they want to practice inside. So
Sweet.
say they're trying to practice for a cold game for whatever reason, and it's warm outside, they can come inside the practice field and crank the temperature down, stuff like that.
Nice.
So, yeah,
There you go.
It was for being Oklahoma, and I think probably all colleges are kind of like this, the facilities. But I was in awe because I'd never seen anything like that before,
Right.
So just how
But those are-
awesome the facilities were.
But those are still huge I agree with you. Though that is Oklahoma, Texas, those long-standing tradition colleges, universities like that. Those are the ones I'd want to go to. Like even Oklahoma, that's still going to be so much further ahead of anything. Oklahoma and Texas are going to be so much further ahead than anything else But besides what you're saying for West Virginia, because the cool tradition you want to see there. But there's the nostalgia of just walking through Oklahoma's would be big time. Walking through Texas's would be big time. I've always said that even though I hate the Packers with a passion, I still want to go to Lambeau. I do. I mean, there's a lot of history on that field. They have a Hall of Fame there also. So
There's only a couple months out of the year I'd want to go to Lambeau, though.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. That comes back to
before it gets,
yeah.
Same thing with Buffalo. I'd like to go see a Buffalo game and just the atmosphere of the Bills Mafia,
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that. I think tailgating and everything, but same thing there with the weather. My dad's from Buffalo too, so it'd be pretty cool to get out there. But yeah,
A little bit of breaking news. They announced the Baseball Hall of Fame participants, or like the newcomers. The 6 newcomers are
newcomers. What?
hold on, along with
Cucumbers?
any new members elected by. Oh, that's just the voting results aren't until the 25th. So this was Buck O'Neil, a champion black ball players during a monumental 8-decade career on and off the field. Joined Gil Hodges, Minnie Minosa, and 3 others that are being elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame on Sunday. Former Minnesota Twins teammates Tony Olivia and Jim Catt also were chosen along with Bud Fowler by the pair of veterans committees. So this is the veterans that were called in. This isn't the ones that like first ballot or on the last one, anything in between, but I thought that was kind of cool. I had a little conversation piece that we need to chat about quick, and that is, I was thinking about this the other day when I was driving between Mason City and Garner, which Danny has another interesting thought on this too, by the way.
100%.
But whenever you're driving through that, because you've driven through there, how many stupid drivers there are, and like people are going slow, thinking they're driving right by the lake, even though it's not, going 35 when it's 45 all the way through. I'm cutting people off on a regular basis, right? But it got me thinking, there's a lot of road rage out there. If you're cutting someone off, you have to be ready to fight, right? I'm not saying you want to fight, but you have to be ready to fight, right? Just in case someone pulls up to you after you cut them off.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Whenever I have to go and drive in traffic, I always think, could I get into a fight or whatever? And I dress my attire in a perfect way that I can strip down to almost naked or naked in the fastest way possible.
Just strip it down. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Throw it down. Rub yourself with some Crisco.
Well, I don't go that crazy. I'm just
Are you
like,
sure? You mean to look in your vehicle glove compartment?
no, I don't want you to, but
I was just thinking about that. Danny, what were you thinking about that? You have to be ready, right?
You have to. Yeah, you have to know. All right.
Either that or you're not cutting people off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you had an interesting thought.
Yeah, Rio, this is what needs to happen, man. There needs to be an overpass created between Garner and Mason City. So you can just avoid all that bullshit in between, right?
I am with you, except it's over the state of Oklahoma and Texas where you don't have to fucking drive through that shitty ass
You
state.
mean the most beautiful state possibly
Get outta
in
here.
the 50?
Oh, man.
Maybe.
I get you. Yes. Yes.
But no, yes, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I hate driving through Clear Lake
It's awful.
in
It's the
Oklahoma.
worst.
But
Yeah.
about the same passion.
Even the Garner to Ventura strip right there gets dumb too, Even on the way
Yeah.
back, especially because we want to drive 50 miles an hour all the way through up to the light, and then when it turns into 2 lanes, all of a sudden I want to go 70.
But then I'm going to slow down when
But then I'm going to slow down once we get down to 1 lane, down to 50 again.
Or how about you like that guy that rides your tail, zooms past you, and then slows down?
Yep.
Yeah,
Road rage is real.
it is.
Yeah.
So I will wreck both of us, sir.
And then I have another vote for you. Dude to dude conversation. Text or calling. And I'm gonna elaborate after you give your answer a little bit more.
About what?
Anything.
Well, we'll get your first impression, then I can maybe change your mind a little bit if you go a different way.
Yeah.
Is it more of a guy thing to text or call, Rio?
Just text me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just text me. Don't
Now that being said,
call us for like my mom or my woman. What the hell was that?
I don't know what that was.
Oh my gosh! It's like you were taking
the
shots.
crickets are back.
It's like you were taking
The crickets
shots.
are back. Jiminy.
That was a big ass cricket.
That's a big ass cricket, dude. That was a chair. I moved it. That being said,
Mike?
There's no ventilation in this garage.
Oh, man.
It's not that. I
Jesus.
told you, I just
He
moved the
just got
basket, son of a bitch.
swampy.
So
Hard to breathe.
let me give you a little more context. All right. So I told Danny I was in agreement. So I'm going to give you the line right now. He says texting. I say calling. Now I am all about the texting when you are keeping it short. When I got to tell you something that is like takes more than fucking 7 words, it's so much easier for me to go like this. Boom. I don't want to talk to you either, but it's so much easier for me to do that than sit here and type out a whole memoir. This dude would rather do a memoir.
Nah, I do agree. It depends on what you're telling me. Because, if you're saying, hey, let's go over here, and then we'll pick him up. And after we get done picking him up, we'll go back there and we'll pick him up. But then we got to drop them off and that stuff over there. And not stop that shit. Call me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But
it's just something
overall,
simple.
Yeah, but
Text
overall, it's a quick text usually,
Yep.
which I'm okay with. If you ever enter a game show, Rio, ever, and the way to win your $10 million, you need to call one person that will not answer the phone.
It's my fucking sister.
No, I'm giving you a free one.
No, I'm telling you right now, she will not answer my phone calls because this is her thought process. If you want to talk to me, you need to schedule some time with me.
Okay. Number 2 is that man
Jesus.
right there then. For $10 million,
Yeah.
he will not answer the
Yeah,
phone.
that's my sister, and I hope you're listening to this, or at least your husband, because he knows it's true as well.
Worst of all, he'll text you literally a second later. What up? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, if you catch me in the middle of something.
No, always.
Nah, dude.
You just have the worst timing in the world.
Some people, I'll
Sometimes
just
ignore
wait,
it.
and I'll wait for it to go to voicemail, and be like, okay, thank God, and I'll go back to playing whatever game I play.
Yeah, piecers. But yeah, so those were my 2 things I wanted to kind of chat about, especially that traffic one. I was thinking about that. I was like, that could get hairy like any time. Like, am I down today to throw down if I have to? Not like I'm looking for it, but you never know with road rage these days. Like, I'm already pissed off that I have to pass you, that I got to cut you off because you're driving so ridiculously slow or driving stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nah, if anybody ever tries to like cut me off or I cut them off and they're that mad that they follow me and I got to get out of the car, I'm getting naked
Yep,
for sure.
Okay.
Because guess what? You ain't fighting a naked dude.
Ain't finding a naked dude.
And don't judge me. It's cold outside, but
Chiefs are up 10-0.
I know. The
Bronx.
Steelers pulled that off too. Did you see that? They beat
Did
the
they?
Ravens.
Did they go to OT?
I don't know. I didn't look
It
that
was,
far into it. They won though.
Hold on. What do we have?
It was
We got-
close.
We got to take a look at that because it was 20. I thought it was 20-20 unless they missed the extra point.
20-19, I think was
Oh,
the score.
Baltimore missed, or either that or they went for
Went
two. Did they?
I bet. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to look quick.
Check it out.
Yeah, because they got the touchdown. All they needed the extra point with a few seconds. I wonder if they went for 2. Let's see. Gamecast. Then we have fourth quarter. 6-yard pass, 2-point pass conversion failed. They went for 2. They went for the win. I'm shocked that they didn't just extend that game because Pitt is that bad on offense that you just don't. You know what? We'll go to OT. Our kicker can kick 65-yarders. That's
Yeah,
all we
exactly.
need to get within range.
Exactly.
It's a little surprising there, but
Yeah. How'd you do on your NFL picks this week, Jimmer?
so my overall picks, like I needed this for my Stone Cold lock. So far, I am perfect.
Yep.
Against the spread. So I had Cincinnati minus 10.5. They covered. Pittsburgh minus 2.5. They covered. Baylor plus 4.5. They covered. Indianapolis against Texans minus 9 covered. Cardinals minus 7.5 at the Bears covered. I just need the Bills to do minus 2.5, and that is a perfect 6-pack of Stone Cold locks there.
So you're
And
gonna
that'll bring me
miss
up to 34, 33, and 1 overall on my Stone Cold locks. Bring me
Alright.
above 500. And actually, I'm doing real good on the upsets this week, too. Also, I had the UTSA plus 2.5, Oregon plus 2.5 missed. That's my only loss so far. Alabama plus 6.5, Washington football team plus 2.5, Chargers plus 3, and I have the Broncos plus 10 right now, which technically is a push as of right now. So,
Yep.
but that can bring that one up to, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. That brings it up 32, 33. If the Broncos do, it brings me up to push or one game below on upset. So I'm liking it.
Not bad. Rio, how you looking?
NFL, I am perfect. All comes down to the Monday night game. Had Dallas cover the -5 Thursday. They did. Tampa Bay covered the 11. Chargers and Cincy, I took the over at 50.5. And the Colts to beat Houston. And then I have New England Patriots to beat Buffalo and also taking the over in that game at 43.5.
Yeah, I'm sitting pretty too in the NFL. All the locks were in. This week was a little different in the NFL. Like, I think last weekend, the biggest spread was like 7. There were a lot tighter games as far as the outlook.
Yep.
But this week, Cardinals, Bucks, Colts, Dolphins, Rams, they all took care of business. Washington, for my upset, took care of Vegas. I just need Denver to cover against the Chiefs and the Pats to upset and beat the Bills, which will happen tomorrow night. So
No, will not.
we'll be sitting good.
No.
Sitting good.
Hey, you still owe, what, one more right now?
You know it.
Yeah. Yep. I still got another one.
Rio has one more too, or
No, I think.
no? He has
Yeah.
one more.
Because I did 1, 2.
He has
It's
4
going
to
to be
5.
number 3.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't
Yep.
even know if we have enough then. We'll see.
Here, make it
About
work.
to finish this bottle tonight, boys.
Yep.
Getting it.
You know what? Just for comic relief, I'll take a video of it. I'll let you get out of the other one for chugging that beer right there. You cannot stop till it's done.
No, I already got to piss, so I'm not doing that. I'm pushing my limits as we sit.
I think he's leaning towards calling me Big Daddy Jimmer.
That's not gonna.
I think he's close. So
Just because it's something your
real
wife
quick-
won't say, you can't get us to say it either.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
she
man.
does.
Oh,
That being said, before we get to the NFL scores, I did want to touch that Deion Sanders and Jacksonville State did win their SWAC championship too, by the way.
in his first season as a head coach there.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. There was. So I didn't realize. I forgot about this. So I think most of the season we've been talking about old boy being a freshman for Bama. Quarterback.
Were we misinformed?
We were misinformed. He was there last year. He just never touched the field.
Yeah.
Mac Jones was, so he's technically a sophomore.
Oh, the better quarterback was.
Well, he took
not
it.
for
Oh,
me.
no.
So he took a COVID year, so he is still a redshirt.
So we're
freshman.
kind of right and
Yeah.
not misinformed.
Exactly.
And,
There we
okay.
go.
Okay. We're still
Exactly.
defeated.
There we go. I'll save you,
Gotcha.
baby. I'll save you,
There
baby
you go.
birds.
I got you.
Nice work.
I looked and confirmed that I 3-1 on my college.
There you go.
Over at 52.5 in the Cincy game. Pittsburgh more to cover that 3.5. Wake Forest and Louisiana Lafayette to beat App State. And Georgia got me. Well, Bama technically got me, but yeah. So
Yeah. Alabama tattoo going on that butt cheek. Roll Tide.
What's the
dude,
What's the backup plan?
thank goodness. Well,
He-
you're gonna give me part of that. That's
what
the
we're doing?
backup
Oh,
plan.
hold on.
is.
What do you got right there?
What? What do you mean?
He has one shot. You save one. You can take one with him tomorrow. There's your 2. You're done. Or there's your 1, right?
Yeah.
You need
all
one
I'm doing.
more, so one of you take it, and one of you got to save it. No, we ain't splitting a shot. A bet's a bet, son.
What if I take it and,
then
spit it into Rio's mouth? that-
Dude, I'm recording. I'm recording, you nasty
no
motherfuckers.
records.
No records.
Yeah.
Matter
No
of fact,
records.
Matter of
Oh,
fact,
that
shut
is
that
hard.
camera off.
Dude, that reminds me of, I don't know if you ever seen that. Have you seen Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah.
He's like, man, I need you guys to do something for me. I'm not going to lie. It's going to get weird.
Cheers
He's
to
like-
bad picks this weekend, guys. This is a rough night.
There you go. Get it. There's 5. Man of his word. And he's like,
You're responsible for the bottle tomorrow.
2.
Or who is?
Yeah, my wife will get it. He's like, it's going to be 2 dragons.
Oh shit.
All right. So Danny's all paid up. He just broke a 3-gig record of 5 shots paid up at once.
It's not very often you break a record that you're not proud of. So
You
Put my
own a
name on the
record,
board.
though? You
Put
still
my-
own a record.
put my name on the
Right.
board. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, at the
There
end
we
of the
go.
day. And he tied the second place one, so
that's true.
he hasn't paid the other one yet, but technically he's supposed to take the 3rd.
Yeah.
That being said, that video is going to age really well that you took of me saying that I'm not used to being wrong. So, it doesn't happen very
Hey,
often when I take
That's
shots.
what it is, man.
A broken clock is right twice a day. Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason why you
So-
guys got me one time. I got you. Yep.
Shit.
All right, so let's run over some scores here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Buccaneers did exactly what you said they were going to do. Even though it was on the road, you were a little skeptical, but they won 30-17 at the Falcons. Tom Brady, 368 and 4 tutties.
The ageless wonder, man. Jesus.
Chris Godwin ended up with 15 receptions, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
Like,
awesome.
damn. Oh, and then what'd you say your boy got?
He got like 19 for me. He got a couple touchdowns, I believe.
There you go. So they're doing just fine, I think. I think they'll be okay, too, even without AB. I mean, but it could hurt when it comes to playoff time if they don't hold on to him. Like, when
Totally
it comes
agree.
into – if they're in the Super Bowl, you need that – maybe something like that. The other one where me and Rio are on one of your most hated teams for whatever reason. The Cardinals roll up the Bears 33-22. David Montgomery had himself a decent day, actually. I think he got me like 20-something odd fantasy points, 27 or something like that. But 90 yards and a tutty himself. That defense was rolling. I think Dalton threw a couple picks in that game.
Four
Four.
interceptions.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Red Rifle was sputtering.
Yeah. He's looking like his cowboy days there.
Yeah,
Rough.
definitely. Real rough.
Then we had Chargers just absolutely meleeed the Bengals.
What are we doing with the Chargers, man?
That's what I said. So I did
Like-
say this in our last episode. I was like, this is a very important game for the Chargers. For me, it was a make or break, right? For Cincinnati, for me, like what I said was, this is the game where I'm going to find out whether I'm a true believer in Cincinnati for the year. Okay? Like, you're going to sell me right here. This is your tipping point to me, at least. And the Chargers just came out and just took care of business. They took care of it on defense.
They
Offense,
were
Justin
beating
Herbert.
the shit out of Cincy early.
Yep.
Then Cincy came back, and it was a 2-point game, and then the Chargers took over the rest of the game.
Yeah, they
did. Burrow had I don't know if it's a broken pinky. Did you see that? His pinky is humongous on his throwing hand.
Yeah, I saw that.
Too. So I don't know if that affected it. He looked okay, but
dude,
it's
you
gotta
still need
suck.
that. Like, try to think about when you throw a football, like trying to take pressure off your pinky.
yeah.
That's
Yep.
gonna be so difficult. Like that actually helps more than what people think.
No,
you can get away with probably. I would say what. Maybe this one right here, you might be able to get your ring finger, maybe. You might be able to get away
Maybe,
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, my point was he was throwing the ball okay, even
Yep.
after they showed that. So I don't know what to make of it yet, but he definitely got an issue going on. It's huge.
T. Higgins had himself a day, though. 9 receptions, 138 and a tutty.
Yeah.
My Giants, I have one more loss I can eat. That's about it.
No, I think that's
No, that's it.
That was it?
Yeah.
yeah. They got to win out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the
You were
last loss.
saying-
That's the last loss that they could
Okay.
get, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's the
not how you
last
said
loss
it.
they can get.
All right.
They lose 9-20 to the Dolphins, who are just still technically on fire, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, where they started the season, we
5 in
beat
a row.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they are now 6-7. Tua did have himself a pretty decent day, 30-41, 244, and 2 touchdowns. I didn't want to touch on it. I don't think it really mattered. It did not matter. Mike Glennon did, I do believe, leave this game with a concussion. I don't think that really mattered, just because I think their best shot at winning was with Daniel Jones anyway.
Right.
So, but that being said, we vaguely touched on it already. Eagles 33-18 over the Jets with Gardner Minshew, 242 and 2 tutties. Miles Sanders went back in time, had 120 yards on the ground himself, and Dallas Goedert 105 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Big day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Digging that. They're also 6-7. That East is getting tight.
Yeah, because Washington just pulled it out, right?
Yep,
too?
Washington. That was the
So-
next, or that was 2 away. But yeah, I'll touch that one. Washington wins 17-15 against the Raiders. I think we all called that.
Yep.
This didn't go quite the way I thought it was going to go, though, because I told you that the Raiders are giving like an all-time record at home, especially for like a new stadium for points given up.
Yep.
This is a very tight match, 17 to 15. So Antonio Gibson had himself a decent day, 88 yards on the ground rushing, but also had himself a receiving touchdown.
Yep.
Hunter Renfrow had a decent game if you had him going, 9 receptions, 102 yards. But back to, we kind of skipped over Danny's other team.
The Vikings.
No.
Oh.
We
We'll
don't
get on
have
that.
to talk about them.
We'll
so.
get on that in a second. Yes, we do, and I'll enjoy every second of it.
You know I will.
The Colts won 31-0 against the Texans.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Rolled them up, and they did it behind who?
Jonathan Taylor. 32
32.
carries, right?
Yep.
Man.
MVP consideration?
Yeah.
If they get to the playoffs, especially,
Have to be.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, look at
He has
Carson
a
Wentz. He's
touchdown.
not,
He has a touchdown in 10 straight games now. I
Yeah.
do believe.
Carson Wentz
Yeah.
not doing anything crazy. It's because they're riding this guy.
Yeah.
MVP, most valuable player.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
depends on because right now the way things are going, unless Kyler comes back and balls out the way he did today consistently, I think Brady's probably ahead in the MVP picks. I haven't looked at that, but I'm assuming he's leading the league in touchdowns, pretty close in yards. It just depends. If he falls off a little bit and Taylor has some stats that are maybe breaking records, whatever, then maybe he could get in. But it's got to be for a running back. It's so hard, It's
Yeah.
got to be something spectacular. So
I like the thought of it. I think his best bet is Offensive Player of the Year, though, unfortunately, because you have to break a record, like an all-time record almost, or be flirting with it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You got to be, like, right there to actually take that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think he's going to quite be able to do that, but that is Offensive Player of the Year-esque, right?
yeah, definitely.
They'll end up finding a quarterback to give it to one way or another for the MVP, I believe, but Tom Brady possibly. I think he leads the league in passing touchdowns.
I just
We
just
do
told you that,
have...
Is there an echo in here?
yeah.
Yeah, there is an
You're-
echo.
You're right, Jimmer, because somebody already told you.
No. Would you like me to throw another one? Matthew Stafford still can have the conversation, too. I heard you say Kyler.
Yeah. If
So-
he comes back and keeps doing what he did today, then he
Yep.
can be up there too. Because he was in consideration before he got hurt, right? He had some crazy stats and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we'll see.
The Lions get their first victory. They
Yeah.
beat the Vikings on a last-second touchdown, 29-27. These stats I'm about to give you are not indicative of how this game went. I'm going to tell you that right now. Kirk Cousins, 30 of 40, 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. He should have had at least 3 interceptions minimum. I think he's been getting, the more I was talking about this earlier, I think he's been getting more lucky than anything with his. He may lead the league in interceptions if they all were caught. Alexander Madison, 22 carries, 90 yards and a touchdown. Nice fill-in job. And Justin Jefferson, even with Adam Thielen out, because he went out early in this game with an ankle. They're also limping by with mass injuries. Justin Jefferson, 11 receptions, 182 yards and a touchdown. This team is limping, though. So they're along the same thing I was telling you about every team has went through devastating injuries. They went into this game with losing even 2 more guys, and Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr were not in this game. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and just flat out say it. We've been riding it.
Bye.
Yep.
Bye, Zimmer.
Yep. And thank you. Thank you, because I'm tired of the inconsistencies. It was every other year. It was turning into a running joke.
There you go. There's Cincy's head coach right there.
We were talking about that. I'm leaning towards, I'm skeptical of college coaches usually, but this one, you know what? I'm worth a try. I don't.
Yep. We need a new offensive mind. We've got too much talent. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So, yeah.
Need something and something to re-spark and not just get these guys. I think give up on them too anymore on Zimmer.
Yeah.
This defense, you're a defensive-minded coach. Even when you are missing, and you're missing some big-time defensive linemen, I will say that. But they got pressure today. They got sacks today. You're supposed to be a cornerback guru. You should be able to coach up all your corners to be able to play spot duty football for you.
There's
in my
no reason.
opinion.
That game-winning touchdown, he was wide open in the end.
He was, and
So-
they were in front of the goal line to start the play.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you give up past the goal line?
Yep. Why'd you back up?
Because it was literally right there.
Yep.
He is one of the worst coaches in history when it comes to the only guy that still has a job that maybe shouldn't when it comes to clock management and timeouts and shit like that is maybe Chris's guy McCarthy.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Zimmer is historically bad with this too. He has cost them a few victories. One in particular, he did the double timeout.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, nice guy. Appreciate you gave us a flirt of some greatness here and there. We had one of the all-time greatest one of the better defenses of all time at 1 or 2 points throughout his tenure here, but nothing ever gelled together all at the same time. The closest thing you had was a miracle, right?
Right.
So I think it's time to move on, me personally, but
Yep. Definitely agree. I'd give Fickle a shot. Zimmer will make a nice defensive coordinator somewhere. Somebody will snag him real quick. He'll be fine.
I wish you could have a conversation with a coach, a human being like that, and be like, hey, we want a different head coach. Could you or would you be willing to? We still want you and respect you as a defensive coordinator. Would you stay on for that? I wish guys would actually just do that. Be like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I love defense. Let me focus on the defense then.
Yep.
Too many guys switch jobs and just take a demotion and go do your thing. Cause you're going to be damn good at that. Because if he could just focus just on defense, the guy could still have it. I do believe that.
Yep. Totally agree.
At least in my opinion. Let's get back down to where we were there, gents. The Rams took care of business like they should have, right? 37-7 against Jacksonville. Matthew Stafford, 295 and 3 touchdowns, something that he needed. Sonny Michel comes in off the bench for him. Darrell Henderson was out with before the game. 24 carries, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp still doing his thing, 129 yards and a touchdown. And your boy got a touchdown. OBJ, I do believe.
Oh, okay. I didn't look. All right.
Yeah, I did see that.
So this was a nice little game that they needed to maybe get themselves correct. I understand they did what they needed to, but they could have screwed this one up too, right?
They couldn't have. Because didn't they lose, 2 straight up to this?
3.
3.
They were so.
Then you get help from Seattle too.
Yeah, Seattle won, so.
Yep. Gave himself a little bit. Ravens, like you touched on already. Steelers beat them 20-19.
Nobody wants to win that division, man.
Nobody.
Jesus.
It is very close, you know. I think we all know Steelers are going to do anything, right? Like this was just
right.
the Ravens went for 2 when they shouldn't have. That's what, in my opinion, you go for it. Steelers aren't good on offense this year. Let's go ahead and roll the dice during OT with the best kicker maybe in NFL history, right?
Right. Yep.
I don't know.
I'm okay with going for it.
I'm okay with going for it, and because didn't Cincy already play at that point? So you knew they had lost. Aren't they up a game? And you're like, okay, well, let's.
No, I think they had the same. No, they didn't even have the same record. So Ravens are up a game. Yeah. I got you.
So you roll it. You go, hey, let's go for it. Go for the win. I can't fault the coach really for that. Didn't work out, obviously.
Maybe the play call, though.
Yeah, I don't know what the play call was, but.
Yeah,
anything to
miss pass.
Yeah, miss pass.
So.
That's not your identity, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. Run the ball.
Powerhouse and see what we get.
Yep.
But I'm not saying I have a problem with it, but in that particular case, knowing that Pittsburgh can't move the ball, and I know we have one of the best kickers of all time, we just need to get somewhere in firing range, and his firing range is pretty damn far.
Yep.
I would have rolled the dice the other way. I would have.
They weren't playing well on offense the entire game.
They weren't either, and Lamar Jackson
Steelers
also had an ugly interception.
Steelers put up 17 in the fourth quarter. Who's not to say they just keep rolling?
Yeah, they could have been worried about the hotness of. Yep, I got you. I know Lamar had 1 interception. I don't know if he had any more than that, but he had an ugly interception, so he's continuing that little tidbit.
He hasn't played. He hasn't played the best game.
I think he's trying to force himself into being a passer. Is that just me?
Because
maybe
he's looking at the money.
Yeah, maybe that, trying to take care of his legs. I mean, he'll still use his legs. He still does it plenty.
Wouldn't that be something they come out and they try to pay him as running back?
They would think about it. Seahawks take care of business today. I was surprised by this. 30-23. There was an awesome fake punt in this one. Travis Homer went like 73 yards on it for a touchdown for him.
You didn't touch on old boy, think for the Niners, the first kickoff of the game.
Oh.
He had to get taken out by a stretcher, taken to the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Got smoked.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently he's okay, but he got taken out early in the game.
Who?
I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Somebody on special teams, though, just got absolutely drilled, and so.
Like, scary moment.
Yeah, scary moment.
Yeah.
Okay. George Kittle, just from tight end, 9 receptions, 181 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He back. It's a tight end week, right?
Yeah.
Not bad. Hawkinson had himself a day, too.
Yeah.
Well,
they had to use somebody, man. All they have is Ayuk and him.
Yeah, but they didn't use Ayuk.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious. So I wanted to bring this up to you guys. Yes, they've been winning up until this one, right? Up until this one, San Fran's been winning, been a little bit of a hot streak. Is there a problem with using Trey Lance? Is Trey Lance done? Is he not going to play this year then? Like, are they I'm confused by what's going on here.
They are trying to provide value to trade Jimmy Garoppolo next year.
Okay.
Got to see him on the field. Hey, this is what you're going to get from him.
a
yeah,
game
maybe.
manager.
And you,
Because you don't know, you sit him and you're trading for what he was in the past. Here, everybody knows what he's got. Okay, here you go. Let's trade him away now.
Yep.
yeah, maybe.
Give old boy a little bit of time to sit. Right, he had a hand injury right earlier. Let him heal. Time to sit. Kind of learn a little bit more of the playbook and stuff. And you're probably not going to win that division. So you got two real tough teams right ahead of you. So yeah.
They're also injured everywhere, especially at running back. So I don't know about putting him in when you've got two guys to throw the ball to, nobody to hand the ball to. That's kind of a – I don't know if there's a win in that situation. Garoppolo's probably the better passer right now, and you can use Trey more if you're comparing the two, more for his legs. And so you've got the running ability with the running backs if they were healthy. Nobody is. They're down to what? They're like eighth string at this point, right? I think there's a little bit of that, but I get what you're saying about the trade value too. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah. That being said,
Is that everything?
yeah,
Boom.
I think we're sitting pretty good, gentlemen.
Not bad at all.
Yep.
Right on. Well, Jimmer, you got the it makes sense if you don't think about it, right?
I do. I got a list of them. So we're going to start. I was trying to get myself a little more to roll with, take some pressure off. Man, Rio here. He's had enough going on, but he does run into some dumb shit quite often. So
It's crazy. Dumb people attract dumb. Wait, what?
Whoa,
Hold on, wait a minute.
What? All right, so makes sense if you don't think about it. We had a conversation. We were having a conversation. It was a little political at work. And it wasn't getting too awkward at first. It was one guy was traditionally Democrat, and another guy that is definitely Republican. So it wasn't like a conversation that way, but they're kind of going, and and the one guy was making sense. He was just saying that because he was asked by a particular individual. I will say the one is Frenchie, and he's just like, I basically go lean that way, Democrat, because it's always benefited me. It seems like it's always benefited me on my 401k and stuff. It's always boosted me, or boosted our whatever is what he was going with. The other guy, it's like, well, what the hell do you know? He's like, well, he's like, I'm just telling you what I feel, it's just like what I've seen throughout my life. He's like, well, the other guy's like, well, I'm more American than you are.
Excuse me?
He's like, so we're all in here. There's 5 of us, but it's basically the conversation we do too. I'm like, how are you more American than him? Not because you're not saying that in an arrogant way because of the Republican thing, because I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that either which way. If you're a Democrat saying that or
Right.
Republican, don't want to hear that shit.
Yep.
How are you? Please enlighten us how you are more American than this man right here. Well, I've been alive longer than him.
Oh.
Oh, it does get a touch better, but I just want to see what your reaction just to that statement alone. I've been alive longer than you. That's why I'm more American than you. Okay. Funny thing is, he Frenchie's like, you're actually not. I'm 37 years old. That particular guy at that time was 33, 34.
Oh,
so
even
his whole
better.
argument went right out the window.
I love it.
He's like, you are? Oh, shit. It just kind of walked out.
Oh my god.
Yes. True story.
That's hilarious.
I was like, he's like, how are you older than me? I'm 30. I think he was 37 or 38, maybe something like that. But he does age well, though. Shout out to French. He does not look that age, whatever he is.
Heck
now,
yeah,
but,
man.
But when that story happened, I think he was 38 or something like that. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm more American.
I am more American. That's funny.
And that 38-year-old Frenchie would play Call of Duty with us, man.
He would.
Love it.
But
Get it.
like I said, makes sense if you don't think about it.
Damn. Well, I've got some words of wisdom
Ooh,
for everybody out there listening.
All
got
right.
my attention.
And here it is. So if you're, let's say hypothetically, you're buying a house, right? And you buy this house, and it takes way too long to finally get the paperwork done and things like that to get your ass moved. But you're finally at a spot to get moved, right? And it's not convenient because when you thought you were going to move was, God, a month and a half ago. But you're finally at that point. You've got the 2 months, hypothetically. You're finally at that point. You've got walls painted, everything. You put in a bunch of work. If you are, next step, if you are planning on moving things into the house, words of wisdom, hit up people that can help you move that shit into said house. Right, Jimmer?
Heck yeah.
Don't you think that's a good idea?
I think that would be
That
good.
would
Wouldn't that
be
make your job a
amazing.
little easier, especially with
Yeah.
everything going on in life? And
Yeah, because it's not easy to do that shit by yourself.
it
or with
isn't. I
even
have
one
done
other
it. It's
person.
not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is some good advice.
That's some good advice. Is that good words of wisdom, Rio?
There's some great words
That's
of wisdom.
some great words of wisdom.
I tell you what, get your friends to help move. You know why I didn't though? Because exactly what I got when I first got here was this asshole. The Alabama. I had to listen to that all fucking
Oh
day.
yeah, he would have been listening to that shit all day, baby.
Moving the couch around the corner.
Roll Tide.
That's what you get for picking Georgia.
This is what you get, bitch.
Fuck, that's great. Well, right on. Beautiful night. I had entirely too many shots tonight.
Yeah,
so
you're. I see
there's
your
definitely
forehead
that.
is sweating. It's bead
I'm warm.
sweating.
I'm warm. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
warm
'cause
your
it's
blood.
warm in here
It's
either.
not because of that, is it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, some good stuff.
Good night though.
That bottle's gone.
Yeah, the bottle's
Yep.
gone.
Thank
so
you,
hey,
Connor.
Connor, hit us up.
So Rio just brought it for us, for up until this our whiskey wagers up till this moment, and we're out. What are you guys leaning towards next? Because my wife will, me or my wife will go get it. What are we leaning towards?
Just tell her to pick any kind of whiskey.
Well, I will, but we don't want anything way too smooth, right?
Well, no, just tell her
Warm?
under
No,
under $20 whiskey.
I don't even know if we want under 20. The more I thought about it, unless it's like it can't be way too cheap. Because you know what? We want an opportunity for some sponsorship love. There's no way Hawkeye Whiskey is going to shell out any money. The reason why they're in business is because they
yeah.
keep it that dirt cheap, right?
Yeah.
Black Velvet BV is not going to pay out anything. There's
Yeah.
a reason for that. That's what I'm
Exactly.
getting at. So maybe we give a little shout out to somewhere else, and we'll
You
figure
don't
out
wanna-
where.
Yeah,
You
let's
don't
get a
want
let's
five
get a
star?
local brewery going and pick out some whiskey from them.
Hey, there we go.
there we go. We'll have to look at that.
Hey, that's actually an interesting fact right there. Maybe we can get them to just give us the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here you go. You
And
get
we
to go and get
sponsor.
it out there.
There's your
Heck yeah, there
sponsorship.
you go.
Yeah.
All right, gents.
Good idea. Well, beautiful. Yeah, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll have this video legit up on YouTube tomorrow.
Perfect.
I know you guys love to see at least one of our beautiful faces. But
Usually can't see his face because it's usually right here.
Are you
it's
kidding
usually
me?
in his
Yeah,
lap.
he has rug
Old
burn on his chin.
striped beard over there.
He gets rug
I
burn
know
on
you're
his
not
chin.
looking at his face.
I love it. Well, for those of you listening on the podcast, make sure you give us a rating, 5-star, 4-star, whatever, if you like it. If you give us less than that, we might have a conversation.
Right,
'cause
might
we
meet
know
you
this
at your
is
house.
amazing,
I don't know
right?
if you ever seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but we will be putting a list. Bitches.
No, for real though. That definitely helps if you give us ratings and things like that.
We can improve.
Yeah, we definitely could. Just putting the word out there and things, like, share, all that stuff. The podcast is available everywhere. Everywhere you can find podcast, Apple, Spotify, everything like that. But thanks again, everybody, for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.
I made something from nothing, no hindsight discussions. I've been writing, I love it. All this doubt around me, damn it, look, I got it.